Welcome to another edition of Warrior Weekly here in front of the new dormitories that were constructed this past summer. Travis Whipple joining me, and Travis, big weekend for the football team as they play St. Cloud for the first time since 1981.
Well, I really think it's going to be a great matchup, and Winona State hasn't beaten St. Cloud since the 60s, so really a fun atmosphere up there. Should be a great game, and our team comes in. I think we're prepared. We've been playing well, and as you know, you try to play your best football as the season continues.
Yeah, Husky Stadium up there, newly constructed, just under about 10 years old. Not an easy place to play in, and it's also a 6 o'clock game, which might be a new aspect for the Warriors this season.
Yeah, definitely this season. We did have the one night game last year with Carson Newman at home. We played at Concordia for a night game too. So, and as the season goes along, there'll be more occasions. So we're hosting Mankato State here on October 2nd. That's a night game. Again, we're up at Concordia, and that's a night game. So a little bit different than the normal 1 o'clock start, but I know they'll be ready to go.
The Huskies currently holding a 13-game winning streak stretching all the way back to 1968, so I think a little extra fuel on the fire there for the Warrior football squad.
Absolutely, and it's a big game. You're trying to continue to move up in the NSIC standings, and a little bit of fuel to the fire. Haven't beaten them since the 60s, so absolutely.
Moving on to Warriors soccer, they also had a somewhat of a good week, splitting with Ferris and Metro State. Metro State, a very talented team, and another close loss for the Warriors, losing to the 5th-ranked team in the nation.
Well, I think they've played one of the toughest schedules right now in the nation. I obviously haven't looked into it, but just off the top of my head, I'd say it's got to be one of the hardest schedules. They played at Grand Valley, played a good Ferris team, and then, like you said, Metro came in. They were ranked number 5, and just got by us by a little bit there, and that's kind of been the story in a couple of matches early. But then they bounce back, and I think that's the factor you look at, especially with some younger freshmen getting some good minutes. You want to see them bounce back. I think Melissa Sellier played an outstanding game, had the game-winning goal the very next day when they after they lost to Metro, and so she's fantastic. I think she's a big part of the team.
Warriors will travel down to Upper Iowa this Friday as they currently hold all-time against the Peacocks an 8-0 record, so quite the dominance by the Warriors soccer team.
Yeah, they've had a nice stretch against Upper Iowa. Just a difficult place to play. That's a tough day trip down and back, so again, you've got to be mentally ready and into it, and Coach Omar does a great job, and I'm sure they'll be ready to play.
After the soccer game down in Iowa at Upper Iowa in Fayette, the Warrior soccer team will be off for an entire week, so hopefully they can retool and get ready for the start of their NSIC schedule once again. Now moving to volleyball, Travis. They had a great weekend out in Colorado. Didn't fare so well last night, but let's talk a little bit about the Colorado trip in which they won 2 games by 3-0 margins. Did fairly well, went 5-3 on the weekend.
Yeah, I think it's very positive in my opinion. You get down there and you have some regional wins. One of the one that stands out for me is Fort Lewis, and I think it's always great when you continue to move up in the regional standings. Kate Horahan played extremely well, the middle blocker down there. Was named to the all-tournament team, so she did an excellent job. And I think the team's still kind of coming together, still finding that identity, but a lot of excitement. And then you mentioned Minnesota State Mankato came in, top 15 team in the country pretty much every year, and we fell a little bit short there. But otherwise, I thought good performances last week and moving into this week.
Absolutely, that's something you sometimes overlook is with the RMAC conference and the NSIC is that the NSIC is probably the premier conference for Division II volleyball.
Oh, absolutely, and I think you look at it's probably the premier league in all of Division II, not even just within our region. But a lot of tough competition, and you've typically got 4 to 5 of our institutions are in the top 25. So the road's not going to get any easier. I think these are good lessons for a young volleyball program that continues to improve each week.
The Warriors travel to Wayne State and Augustana this weekend, so a tough NSIC road trip. Wayne State, another team that's ranked in the top 25.
Absolutely, and Augustana and Wayne, two of the most difficult places to play in any athletic event in our conference, and so like I said, won't get any easier for them. But the good thing about a young team is they grow up and they become sophomores, and I think this team is going to continue to get better as the year goes on. They showed it last year. They really finished strong last year as well.
Warrior tennis also getting underway here to start off the fall season. They'll be going for quite a while here, ranging all the way into spring. They also started off fairly strong.
Yeah, I think a very good match, and again, it's one of our young programs. Again, I think a couple of names that you're going to hear a lot of over the next couple of years are Jessica Urban and Leah Dahl, a couple of freshmen that are really playing well. Leah won both her singles and doubles match, and Jessica Urban right now is playing number one doubles. Of course, the leader of that group is Heather Pierce. She's done an outstanding job throughout her career, and but yeah, absolutely. Lacrosse, always a very solid program. They fell there, and then they came back the next day against Stevens Point and swept them 9-0. So great performance. They're headed to ITA tournament here this weekend, and that's the only time you can advance as an individual in Division II tennis. So a great opportunity for some of those student athletes to move on individually.
Good things to come this week. Don't forget, once again, Warrior football traveling up to St. Cloud for a night game. That's starting at 6 p.m. You can tune into that on the radio at 89.5 KQAL and on kqal.org. Pre-game with Steve Carley and myself will start at 5:30, so should be a good one. Hopefully the Warriors can stop the streak at 13.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see a great performance. It's going to be a really neat atmosphere out there. So, if you can't make it, listen in, but I think it'd be a great trip up to St. Cloud.
That'll do it for this edition of Warrior Weekly. Until next time, have a great week.